Hi, my name is Serin, and I'm currently a music business student at Berklee College of Music. I'm studying entrepreneurship, and my principal instrument is my vocal cords. Let's see, my favorite food is anything potato related because potatoes are so universal. They're so delicious. Love carbs. Yeah, my favorite color is pastel colors because they're so happy. And I originally came to Berklee for jazz, but now I sing more of indie R&B songs, but like all music. My favorite hobbies. Well, I really enjoy strengthening my social skills. You know, like people work out physically, I like working out socially, as in I love meeting new people from all different cultures and backgrounds and just talking to them. So I was born in Korea in 1996, and then my brother was born in 1997, and we were super close. And then when I turned 4 and he was 3, he was diagnosed with cancer, and he actually had leukemia, and the chances of him surviving was lower than an Ivy League acceptance rate. So a lot of people were doubting the fact that he was going to survive, especially on my dad's side, and because my dad was the only Christian in the family, and he was actually the first Christian in that side of the family. And so yeah, they were like, where's your God during this time period? But my parents never doubted him, and they kept on praying, and actually they just fully relied on God. And during this time period, my mom was a full-time nurse and my dad was studying in master's, and so I was moved from family to family. So I went from like my grandma's house to like my aunt's house to my other aunt's house, and yeah, I think through there I learned to adapt to places quickly. But then my brother had many times where he, like medically, he wasn't supposed to survive, but God always pulled through. And then he was all fixed. And during that whole time period, my family on my dad's side actually started praying to our God, the Christian God, because they were like, you know, we don't have anything to lose because we're about to lose a family member. So once they started praying, my brother actually started getting better. And then now, well, both my grandparents on my dad's side have passed away, but they passed away attending a church and being baptized. But always growing up, I always looked different from all of my friends. And I didn't really realize that until middle school, when I started having my stages of rebellion. I thought it was cool to get like kicked out of malls and hanging out with like the skater crowd because they were so cool. And yeah, that's like the age where everyone wants to fit in, and I just visually didn't fit in. And I guess spiritually too, I knew there was God, but I thought it wasn't cool to believe in God, because no one that I knew that believed in God were hip, you know. And so I started hanging out with my friends who all happened to be like dancers and cheerleaders and all these girls that I thought were so pretty. And I hit 8th grade where I hit this lovely thing called puberty, and I started getting acne and gaining weight. And so I started hating myself because I couldn't look at myself in the mirror. Because if all these beautiful girls thought they were so ugly, how or why, or even I knew I wasn't worthy at that point. I was like, I'm not worthy in this worldly sense. I'm not worthy of anyone's love or anyone's acceptance. So that being said, I started seeking for approval and worthiness from my friends, but also from guys. and that feeling of approval became my main source of approval. I'm definitely not worth anything, and I just started getting in this turmoil of a mindset of, Serin, like, you don't deserve that. Like, you're not worthy of it. You're not good enough. Like, you're not pretty enough. You're not skinny enough. And I just felt very unloved, even though I knew my parents loved me and my brother loved me. And because of that, I started, just getting into a deep, dark mindset of like wanting like eating disorders, because like a lot of the girls that I was with had eating disorders. And like I would go on the Tumblr Pro Anna page and just look at those girls and think, wow, they're so disciplined, and why can't I be like that? And yeah, but then I went to this revival camp where it was just me and my brother, and we just went with like a bunch of random people from a sister church. And there was this really cool pastor who came, who had like tattoos and like a lion shirt and dreads and like these cool web shoes. And I was really good at like acting like a really good church girl. So I went up to him after the sermon. I was like, hey, Pastor Todd, like, how can I make my friends into Christians? Because they're not Christian. And he like looked at me with his like piercingly innocent blue eyes, and he was like, why are you acting different to them than you are at church? And that was the first time where I felt like God really like saw my soul and the state of my soul. And actually, and then after that sermon, they called out for everyone who was creative and took them into a room where there was like a blank canvas, and we were to pray to just draw for someone. And so we would draw, and then they asked like, who is this painting for? Just pray to God to give you the image of who it's for. And during this whole time, like, I'm really good at, still to this day, I'm really good at controlling my emotions when it's with people. Just happiness all the time. But this time was extreme because I was so sad and just desperate to feel love. Like, I knew my parents loved me, but I just felt so like I didn't understand why I couldn't feel the love that I knew that they had towards me. And when people would say things like, oh, you look pretty, or like when they would talk to me, I never thought they were talking to me. I thought they were like talking to like my acne, and like they were saying things like, oh, you're pretty, and things like that, because they felt like pity for me, because of like how disgusting I was. Like, they were like, okay, like we need to tell her that she's pretty so that like, she gets a little sticker. And I don't know, just being at that age, I just felt so unworthy. But there I went to a prophecy room at the camp, and these 3 people that I didn't know sat down, and they started praying for me. And one of the sisters, she told me that she saw a caterpillar that was currently in a cocoon, and that cocoon was me. And then once I accepted Jesus as my true savior, and I give my whole life to him, that I would fly like a beautiful butterfly, because I'm a beautiful daughter of God. And that struck a chord with me, because she kept on saying the word beautiful. And the other 2 people that were praying for me, both of their visions were talking about beauty, but beauty as a daughter of Christ, and that consistent standard of beauty, which is the fact that God wove me in the womb. Like, he knew how it was going to look like from the womb, and he made me the way I am because he thinks that I'm beautiful, and he thinks you're beautiful, and he's beautiful, and she's beautiful, because he made us. And yeah, and then after I came out of the prophecy room, this random girl came up to me with this canvas. And she was like, hey, I know we don't know each other, but I thought I should give this to you. And it was like splattered with a bunch of color. And she's like, I thought of a butterfly and the beauty of a butterfly. And I was like, wow, like, God, you see me. And you think I'm beautiful, not because of what the magazines say or what the boys say or what Korean beauty standards say, but because you made me and you gave me a soul and you gave me a life, and you're giving me these opportunities to just live with the soul and the life that you've given me. And that's when I realized I am beautiful because I'm a daughter of Christ. Nothing more, nothing less. Just that consistent. I'm a daughter of Christ. And so, yeah, my confidence level shot up 3,000. Okay, I'm just reminded that, like, it's not me nor my talent that brought me here, but God, honestly. And I know that might sound so cheesy, but during my first semester, I was put into this ensemble that I did not belong in. This is not being humble. This is me being very frank. A lot of the people in there had already had jazz conservatory backgrounds or were upper semesters, and I was just this freshman first semester kid who's never had voice lessons, just in choir, sang in the shower. And needless to say, I got my butt kicked very, very hard, and I developed stage fright for a year. And it was because I relied my identity as a musician on the critiques of other people and the whole idea of my talent equals myself and my identity and my soul and who I am and my worth. And God definitely shattered that, because he was like, I'm gonna rebuild that. It was like a messed up Jenga piece before, and he shattered it so that he can build it up all straight for me. And so after Valencia, I became confident in my talent, not because of my talent, but because just the whole idea of beauty, same with talent. God gave me a voice that I want to use, not because I'm good, but because maybe that's what he wants me to do. And so now I am going for entertainment as my career path. Whatever that may entail. I love people. Cameras don't scare me. But it's not because I'm anything special. To be honest, I'm nothing. But he is everything. And I'm his daughter. You're his son. You're his daughter too. And so we are meant for something. And if there's anything that I learned, it's that the pain of regret is way greater than the pain of discipline. And that's just been repeating in my head and my journey with God, and with singing too. That takes a lot of discipline. So I am the age of 21, and so I just make sure that I don't really go out, and not because I don't want to necessarily, because I have an obnoxious personality, but because this is what he's given me that he wants me to do. So like he keeps on telling me, the pain of regret is greater than the pain of discipline for the big guy. And I don't know what going in the entertainment might entail, but that's just what he's been resonating with me in my heart. So I'm actually in the process of creating Asian American in Music and Entertainment Club at Berklee, which will basically bring in Asian speakers at Berklee, because we lack Asian speakers. Majority of our speakers are either Black, Latino, or white. And the reason is because we become like what we see. And the dream that he's planted, or the vision he's planted with me, is to create an environment where our brothers, sisters in Christ, who also are Asian, to remind them that we are capable. Also, not because of our own talents, but because we are his children. And he's given us these passions for a reason.